What is a person worth? What determines how much a worker should get paid? Because these days, it's more than just globalization and technology and bottom lines. How we answer that question determines what kind of life people get to live, what their families and futures look like. What a person is worth is a big question.
Okay, I'll admit, I'm in way over my head on this one. Never studied economics, terrible at math, and frankly, I've always had an unease with anybody who claimed to understand forces so obviously opaque to the rest of us. But naturally, I do care about big economic principles, however convoluted, when they come to influence my paycheck, and the same for those that I care about. So here's my best stab at it.
If you were to ask me what I'm worth, what hourly or yearly value I add to whatever organization I work for, let's be honest, there's never been a time I thought it really matched up with what I was actually getting paid. Call it ego, call it American, call it self-preservation. I imagine I'm similar to most people in that regard.
There's this idea out there, and it bugs the shit out of me. And it's that capitalism, a free market, and maybe Lady Liberty herself are all going to magically and accurately calibrate my value in the economy, and yours, and your mom's. And in the attempt to create policies that are going to influence that value, a living wage, unions, subsidized vocational training, they're all anathema, because the best market is one that chugs along without any outside influences.
And it is tempting to say it really is as simple as looking at the demand for workers who can do what you can do. Simple. Clean. Can you bag groceries quickly? So can a lot of people. Can you read and even predict the stock market? Well, there's not as many people who can do that. Supply and demand. But what if the system's not so pure?
Here's an example. Did you know a company is able to deduct a CEO's pay from their income taxes, so long as it's over $1 million, and it's tied to company performance, usually in the form of stock options? How's that for some crazy shit?
So, say you're on a board of directors for a major company who's looking for a new CEO. Pretty much every dollar you offer that person in compensation is a dollar the company doesn't have to pay in taxes. So yeah, his or her value to you is going to look pretty high. More profits for the company equal higher returns on stocks you own. But who's paying for all that? The rest of us that just saw every CEO's pay deducted from the country's pool of funds we pay into.
The term welfare queen comes to mind. Now, the best devil's advocate response I can think of says, yeah, that's not exactly the free market. But those Wall Street bankers, those CEOs, they're incredibly smart. And one major recession notwithstanding, they've collectively grown the US economy in a major way.
But then I realized the only one who have seen the benefits of that growth have been them. There's wealth redistribution going on, all right, but they're taking our tax dollars and merely increasing their share of the pie.
And when I learned that point, that I was actually helping prop up the big payday these guys were making. And that what they could do for the rest of us was the only real justification given as a difference between them and us that settled our worth. The way I see it, if it's that easy for those at the top to sneak in and convince the rest of us to pay for their bonuses, then some corrective measures, an attempt to control the powerful and give the rest of us a fighting chance to actually let our skill and work ethic influence what we're worth, shouldn't be too much to ask.
Okay, CEOs are maybe an inflated group. Surely they're a one-off though, right? What about the rest of us? Well, when I got back from volunteering in Honduras for a couple of years, I had no money. Like, none. So I moved in with my folks and got a low-paying job for a couple of months before I could afford to move out. It was a safety net, and one that an enormous amount of young people don't have. So it wouldn't be entirely surprising if you ran some numbers and found out I'm making a little more now, a year later, than someone who found themselves broke without a middle-class parental safety net behind them.
How much of a tool would I actually have to be to believe that the extra money I'm making today was a complete reflection of the value of my skills in the marketplace, and nothing else? Not that I'm white, not that I'm a dude, not that I can pass for straight, not that I'm somewhat good looking, and not that I'm in a financial place where I can pick up and move across the country into a pretty expensive city just months after being broke. Those things, they don't happen in a vacuum, and neither does our economy. So let's not be afraid to make it a little more fair.